Hey, Summerhill Cinema 700 here. Just kind of a random, fun little video here to discuss a plan that I have for hopefully next year, or at least in the next coming 2 or 3 years at the most. I'm planning on visiting New York City and basically just pretty much the whole time going to different movie locations from some of my favorite films, taking pictures, taking videos, and eventually just making a really cool video to share with you guys and just to have for my own um, collection of things to say that I've done, because if I look back on my movie shelf back here and all the films that I have that I've collected over the years, a good percentage of those films and a good percentage of the films that I consider my favorites were filmed in New York City. So for me, I think it would be a very special thing for just me myself to go to New York City and visit a lot of these locations. Now I know it's New York City is changing so much. Uh, Now there's new buildings and just so much infrastructure going on that it's not going to be the same as it was when the movie was filmed. Of course, if you watch films from back in the 70s and 80s, when New York was like its grimiest and slimiest, it's not going to look the same. But there are a lot of these locations that I've looked up, and a lot of these locations, the areas that they're in, look fairly similar. Of course, there's not that same sleaze and grime that was in the city back then, which if I could choose to go back to any time, it would probably be to visit New York City in those times, um, just to see what it was like. And I know there was like all this crime and crap going on, which is not cool, but just to see those filming locations, there's something special about it. And it's hard to explain, but if you've seen movies like Chud and you've seen movies like Street Trash and these movies like 1990 The Bronx Warriors, there's just a kind of charm that these movies have. It's really hard to explain, but I know a lot of you guys understand what I'm saying. Um, there's another YouTube or Dave Maggot. Shout out to you, my friend. He's commented too about how he loves these grimy films and just these like old New York City kind of like exploitation films. They're just great. There's something about them, like I said, they have a charm. So I wrote down just a few of the locations that I plan on visiting. Of course, Lucio Fulci's Zombie. I have Street Trash, Chud. I'd love to go see the manhole where the Chud is pulling down that lady in the first like opening scene. That alleyway and with the manhole there still looks pretty similar. They had a special feature on the Chud Blu-ray by Arrow Video a few years back of Michael Gingold from or Gingold, or however you say his name, from Fangoria, went there and showed you some filming locations. So definitely going to see the locations of Chud. That'll be great. Um, and then all the Henenlotter films, the Frank Henenlotter films like Basket Case, Frankenhooker, and Brain Damage. Going to try to visit all the locations of those films. Wolfen, 1990, The Bronx Warriors, and Escape from the Bronx. And I'm hoping to do a video soon talking about those films, because 1990, The Bronx Warriors, and then Escape from the Bronx have become some of my all-time favorite films. They're just so awesome. And I just watched them for the first time earlier this year, and I just absolutely fell in love with them when I bought the three-pack, which had 1990 The Bronx Warriors, Escape from the Bronx, and The New Barbarians. The New Barbarians was not very good in my opinion, but we still had some good action with Fred Williamson and that little kid. I can't remember who he is. He was in all those Italian films like Manhattan Baby and The House by the Cemetery. You know, that little child actor. So it was kind of fun for that, but overall the movie was terrible. Honestly, I don't know if I'd go as far as saying terrible, but it was not a good movie. And if you compare it to like the 1990 The Bronx Warriors and Escape from the Bronx, those movies are far superior. So plan on visiting the locations of those films. The Exterminator, Vigilante, William Lustig film. Um, the Warriors, of course, classic scene. I believe that the park where they filmed the original scene with all the gangs when they kill Cyrus, I believe that park still looks fairly similar. Maniac Cop, the Death Wish films. Rewatched Death Wish again today. Just such a fantastic movie. Getting back into that franchise. Just love those films. Love Charles Bronson. But I'd love to go to the staircase that's on the Death Wish poster, the original film, where he's just like going up the staircase, looking back, and kind of like shooting his gun. I'd like to like reenact that in a picture or something. Taxi Driver. Just so this is just a list of some. There's lots more, but what I plan to do is go there for a week or so or whatever. I don't know how much it's going to cost, but I'm saving money for that. So earliest would probably be next year. Latest would probably be 2 years, maybe three. I'd like to try to go though as soon as possible, because, like I said, New York City is changing so much. And we're entering a new decade soon, so there might be even more infrastructure happening. And it's a changing city, and the whole world is changing. You know, even the city that I live in here in Canada. In the last 15 years, just so much has changed in the city. Even the last 5 years, so much has changed in the city that I live in. It's just like if you look back 5, 10 years ago and now, not to mention like 15 or 20 years, and then you look now, it just doesn't even look the same. So New York City is changing so much, and unfortunately I missed out on 42nd Street. You know, it would have been great to have gone there back in the Grindhouse Theater days and stuff, but unfortunately 42nd Street has been taken over by Disney, who in my opinion ruined it, as they ruin most things. And I know that's kind of a little harsh, but I'm being honest. I mean, I am not a fan of Disney anymore. Just the way that they cash in on movies and Star Wars. But I'm not going to get into politics and all that crap, because who has time who likes to hear about that, right? Not me. But no, 42nd Street, you know, if you look back in the Grindhouse Theater days, and just, it was such a cool area. I mean, it was seedy and slimy, but that was kind of a part of the charm to it. Like I said, same with these movies. So unfortunately, if you go to 42nd Street now, it's just Times Square, and it's just a big fiasco of people walking around taking pictures of everything and flashing lights. It's just like not my thing. And just massive crowds of people, which are again not my thing. Even though I'm a fan of city locations for films, I don't like being in massive crowds. But I'd love to go to the Manhattan and the Brooklyn Bridge too, and because so many films have been filmed there. I mean, that scene at the end of Zombie where the zombies are walking across the Brooklyn Bridge is just amazing. And same within 1990, The Bronx Warriors, when there's that scene where the guy's playing the drums down underneath the, I think is it the Manhattan Bridge? I think it's the Manhattan Bridge. He's playing the drums underneath. It's a really weird scene, and all these bikers show up. I'd like to go down in that area. So the whole goal is just to, you know, go and visit these filming locations, take some pictures and videos of these locations. And it's kind of like for film preservation for myself to say, you know, look, I've been here, and also for you viewers to see. It's very charming to see, you know, some of these locations that, you know, you don't see too often anymore, and it's just they hold a place close to my heart because I'm so passionate about movies and stuff that I just feel like I have to see these places before they potentially disappear. So that being said, very excited, you know, for that, and maybe some of you guys won't ever get a chance to go to New York, so that's another reason why I'd like to do it, so you can see what these locations look like for yourself too. So it's partly for my own satisfaction and also for yours. So I'm planning this trip now. I'm just kind of looking up prices. I'm not in any rush, but I would like to do it sooner than later. But let me know if there's any filming locations of movies that you would like me to visit, and I would consider visiting some locations for you guys if you want to see what they look like. And because basically this whole trip, that's all I'm going to be doing. Like, I'm going to go to some other places too, you know, like visit World Trade Center 1 and go check out like the Chrysler Building. I don't think you can go up, but and of course go see like the Statue of Liberty and all the sightseeing things that there are to see in New York City. But the main goal and purpose of this trip that I'm planning on going on is going to be to visit all these filming locations and capture them, and just to see them with my own eyes too, and just to have that implanted in my mind. It'd be very great. So this is something that I'm not just saying I'm going to do. It's going to happen. It's getting done. It's something I got to check off my bucket list, and just something I'm very excited for. So let me know again, what locations, if you could go to New York City, would you like to visit? And if there's any that you're interested in me visiting while I'm there, or would suggest, then let me know. But mostly I'm focusing on, you know, these old kind of exploitation grindhouse films and grimy, you know, these movies that take place when New York was a different city than it is today, and just showing what they look like now versus then and whatnot. So I'm kind of just going on and on, but as you can tell, I'm very passionate about New York City as in filmography and whatnot, and filming and movies and cinema. So thank you for watching this video. I could probably go on for just even longer. I'm going to make a video one time of my favorite New York City films. So is that enough New York for you for today? Hopefully. So thank you very much for watching, and we'll see you on the next video. Until then, take care. Should have worn my New York t-shirt. Yeah.